Yeah, there's 90,000 people in the app.
Everyone ready? Everyone get
5,
Yeah, I will.
4,
Everyone's dancing.
pray.
Well, how can
I'll
you
do
how
my
can you
version of
sit
dancing.
still during this song? It's so good.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it.
That's my jam. We are Our Place Out Loud. I'm your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palenker. I'm here with some lovely and captivating teenagers. We've got Sio, we've got Kiamute, Ryan, Maddie. Ryan gives his patented Ryan salute.
Every time.
Which is awesome. He's got to move, he's got to maneuver.
And Jake's
It's
aware.
more iconic than the Carson Gulf swing. Jake is in the control booth. We've got Justin, Matt, and Howard on deck. There's a lot of people absent tonight, but we miss them and we think of them lovingly. Maddie, we were going to do something a little different with shout-outs last week and this week. And this week, tell us what you asked the kids for their shout-out.
This week, it was 3 things about your personality. Or 3 words.
That was last week.
Oh, this week was 3 words describing your mood.
Your
Sorry,
mood.
I knew
All right.
that.
Shout them out.
Okay. We have Sapphire, who says pessimistic, a little excited, and free from homework.
Nice.
Maddie13 rocks, happy, delightful, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Sports Rule says tired, sore, and anxious.
Interesting.
Curious Person says tired, happy, and excited. Lauren says happy, in love, and worried. Miss Musical says happy, tired, and exuberant.
Woo, good word.
It's a word. Love Pink 101 says at the moment, stupid, homework.
Oh, cute.
Smiley Face 000 says love struck, how I always feel. Ocean Breeze says happy from heaven. Autumn 11 says happy, love, bored. Okay. America the Beautiful says tired, upset, and more tired. And Swim Believe PLL says bored. And we have Dancer 38 says sore, excited, angry. And Olivia says happy and content. And Proud Owl Citizen says nervous, determined, and hungry.
Okay, so from all of that data, were you able to call the most popular descriptive word?
I think I'd say tired,
Tired.
probably. We had a lot of tired.
Tired's pretty universal. We are at 888-531-7171. If you would like to join the conversation, please do give us a call. You may notice, or you may not, because I'm sitting in it and blocking it, but I have a new chair, and I'm very excited about it. If you would like to name my chair, please... yes, you can name my chair. It's exciting, and we'll have a...
Theo got so excited.
Chair. It's interesting what excites Theo. It never ceases to amaze. Okay.
Really, really quick.
Yeah.
I got a car
Right.
this weekend, and I named her Samantha Parker.
That's a really good name.
Yeah.
Are you picking out colleges
No.
for your car? I mean, with a fancy name like that, she needs to go to a very elite school.
She has to go to my
Charleston.
college.
Oh, yeah, she's going to your college with you. That's right. And you're going to?
Agnes Scott.
Agnes Scott. So I want to hear all about the history of this person called Agnes Scott who started her own college.
Me too. We have her DNA painted on the science.
That's
like
creepy.
The science. Her DNA sequence. It's really cool.
Wait.
Her
Was-
DNA sequence is painted onto like the science building.
Okay, so it's not a murder scene.
No,
Her DNA is
because
splattered
she's
on the
really
wall.
old,
Okay.
and so
She died peacefully in her sleep knowing that she had started a college for young girls.
I don't know if she died peacefully in her sleep.
Okay, let's find out more about Agnes Scott. She's
That
an
would be
interesting
you who thought
female
that.
character in history. NYC writes the following, and I wanted to open the show with it because I just love this comment. NYC, honestly, I think about OP pretty much all of the time now. Smiley face. It's such a great app. I bet you've saved lives and helped people get up and do something or say something. What a nice thing to say. I don't want you thinking about OP all of the time. I want you thinking about other things as well. Ryan?
You should change the you've saved lives to we've saved lives because the whole, everyone in the app is helping each other. It's not just us here over at the podcast. It's everyone who's involved,
It's-
NYC and everyone else who's involved.
It's the community. It's the collective. There's power in collectiveness. So Matt was just gesturing wildly like he does to his kids at home when they spill chocolate milk on the couch. Anonymous writes, do boys only look for how sexy a girl is? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Such a complicated question. Ryan.
No.
Such a simple answer. And that's what I wrote. Kimute.
No.
No.
Do we consider it? Yeah.
Of course.
So the way I responded in the app was I said sexiness is certainly going to get a guy's attention because that's how guys are DNA wired, or not DNA, but biologically just predisposed to be distracted, I guess is a good word, by sexiness. But if all you are is sexy, they will quickly get bored because you have to have an interesting personality. And what you don't want to have is sexiness and a guy who's only interested in being entertained and using you to entertain himself and then getting bored and then leaving because that leads to very sad girls. So
Sad used girls.
Sad used girls. And if all you are is leading with sexiness and middling with sexiness and closing with sexiness, you're going to be sad. You have to work on your personality. Q.
I was actually thinking about this earlier today. When, like, guys see some girl who's sexy, they're not really thinking, oh, I want to get to know her. Like, I want her to be my friend, which is kind of what I feel like girls, like, make themselves look better to do because they want to get to know people. But, like, if they're doing something that's interesting, then it's more like, oh, that's really cool. I want to get to know that person. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it has to be something that you can, like, I mean, I feel like if I see a girl doing something really awesome, like, I'll go up to them and, like, ask them about it. You know, I don't have a specific example in mind right now, but if I just see someone who looks really good walking by, like, that doesn't intrigue any thoughts in my mind or anything of, like, questions that I want to ask them and get to know them better.
It's much more vulgar and not, like, not thoughts that you want, like, that you're searching for, like,
or that you want to hear.
Yeah.
Right. And so what's confusing for girls is that let's say that they start to get to an age where they realize that sexiness attracts a guy's attention, and so they start to exhibit sexiness and it gets attention, so they exhibit more sexiness and it gets more attention, but they're not realizing along the way that it's not the right kind of attention, and because it seems so positive, especially when it's coming over the internet and it's no longer just a guy whistling as you walk down the street. Now it's like coming at you day and night from every angle, and people saying, "Send me some pics," and all of this, and it gets the kind of response that the girl is craving. How does she ever learn that that's not how she needs to continue? Because it will only end in tears. Am I making any sense at all? I need the girls to talk for a moment. And Ryan.
Oh, I was going to say,
yeah,
it has the word sex in it.
Right.
And by itself, that's about all it'll get you. Like, by itself. Like, it doesn't get you a relationship with anyone. It doesn't, like, you know, like you said, you need the personality. You need more than that.
Mm-hmm. And so how do young ladies learn that when you get such instant attention through sexualness, how do young ladies learn to cultivate other aspects of their personality when it's so easy not to? Kyo?
Well, I think you either have to be raised a certain way or told, or you have to go through it with experience and learn that, like, go through heartbreak and things like,
or be
learn.
Around the kind of people who are going to remind you. You know, it's
Right,
not always
but
about being
either
raised.
you're gonna have to learn it from someone else and listen to somebody else, or go ahead.
Well, I think, like, for me, there was a time where I was, like, just interested in having sex appeal because it was fun to me, and then I started to realize, wow, this makes me really dumb. Like, I mean, not like the people I hung out with because of that were really, really they didn't think very much.
Intellectually challenged.
Intellectually challenged, yes. And I don't like that. I like to consider myself smart. So I'm like, I just learned through thinking about what I really wanted to be doing, that this isn't something that I want, you know? So.
That was just Justin trying to attempt to make a call. Kyo?
Kyo?
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that that has a lot to like any person, whether it be boy or girl, needs to ask themselves sincerely what they really want, because you kind of don't. I mean, you don't think about it too much, or you think this is what I want because it's socially good or something, or like people tell you this is a good thing, but you don't actually ask yourself, what do I want for myself? What'll make me happy?
Well, let me ask this question, because you see, you know, it's so readily available, this imagery on the internet, on Tumblr, of these just phenomenally attractive physical specimens that it's so popular to post these images and repost them and repost them and repost them, and there's some sort of image of both the male and female form that really none of us are going to ever achieve. But is this imagery making it more difficult for kids to figure out who they actually are, personality-wise, when they're so distracted by like some kid doing a selfie with his abs, and boys feeling like, how will I ever have these abs, and what girl will ever like me? When really, like, I've been an 11-year-old girl. I was not ever remotely interested in anyone's six-pack, nor am I now. It just looks stupid to me to see a 12-year-old showing his abs in a mirror with a camera. I don't want boys to think that that's what girls want. And yes, it may catch our eye, like if I were 11, or if it were Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever, it may catch my eye. But that doesn't mean that I want to know him, because I don't know what he's like. Ryan?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it applies to just about everything. Well, to answer your question, yeah, I think it's distracting to a lot of people, and it's definitely not helpful because it's misleading. But I think just the general, like, idea here, it can be applied to a lot of different things, and I think I've said it before on different topics. It's just like, it's all about finding a balance between the things, and so you have to spice it up. Yeah, it's great to look good, but it's also great to have a personality. It's also great to get to know people and intrigue people, and it's how you find the balance. So I don't know, what do you think, Ncia?
Well, I was just, when you said about the balance, I wanted to share this earlier, but I wasn't sure how to say it. Like, when I'm dancing, I like to think that I have
balance and you don't fall.
Nice sex appeal. Very nice sex. But, I mean, I'm not, like, dancing like a hooker, because that just looks bad. Like, I'm a good dancer. Actually good. Sorry, it just bothers me when girls...
I think there are things that you do, like when you're swimming, you just feel like, oh, I'm just so... I feel beautiful. I feel like my movement is beautiful, and certainly movement is beauty, and that you should feel that way. And the dance is really all about expressing your feelings with your body, and you should feel sexual if you feel sexual. There's nothing wrong with...
Exactly, but I'm saying, like, in my everyday life, I'm not. Like, I'm probably the least, appealing person.
But sometimes
Don't
don't you
say
feel
that.
like, even like as you're just moving through your day, you sometimes feel like a certain bounce in your shoulders or back, and you feel like, oh, I like me. This is cool. I like being me.
Yeah, but sometimes I also feel that I don't like being me.
Yeah.
I mean, it fluctuates. It changes all the time.
Also, when I think I have my shoulders back and, like, oh, I'm proud, people think I'm stuck up.
No,
They
I don't
really
think so.
do.
I don't think so. Kyo?
Yeah?
I'm thinking about your question of whether or not people thinking, like, people posting and having all this sex appeal is making it more difficult to find what's really important. But I don't know. I feel like there would be something else. Like, it's just whatever society is telling you is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I've seen pictures of men posted on the internet, and then women just going, "Oh my God," and spelling it GAWD, and so I think women can be as easily distracted by this imagery, but it's really not necessarily the person that you want to have lunch with. It's just an image that we're kind of biologically predisposed to have it turn our head.
But I feel like even though it may not be the person you want to have lunch with, the idea is just that it turns your head, and then you might want to have lunch with them. You get to know them, and then over lunch, and then like it can be unrelated.
I mean, that's why it's appealing to people, because it turns ahead, and they
and
like
then once
that.
you turn your head, then you can get to know them, and then you might turn around the other way and run as fast as you can, or
Right, but I also want kids to know that people will have their head turned if you're just a really cool person.
Yeah, that's
And
true
it
too.
doesn't have to be
Yeah.
sexual, especially below the age of 18. It just doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't really be that way. And in fact, I know that if a girl is sort of like, now the kids can upload their own photographs to our place, and I mean, I may need your guys' help with this, because I'm sometimes not sure if I should let someone know that her image is inappropriate because there's so much cleavage, or just something that I don't want to draw the line quite yet, because I'm not sure exactly how to, and I've always been sort of strict in terms of behavior and how people need to put kindness first, but with the images that they're posting, I don't know, what do you think in terms of someone just looking like a hoochie girl in their profile picture? Should I say something to that kid or not, or is that kid finding herself? Ryan?
To a certain extent, I mean, like, there's obviously a little bit of gray area, because then it becomes opinion based. But yeah, I mean, when they look like that, I think it's your turn to step in and say something. I think something to be awesome is, when you first sign into the app, you know, and you can access it any time. It's like that list of guidelines and what our place is about. And there's some rules about, you know, keeping things clean and stuff like that. I don't see why not, you know, just throw like a guidelines for profile pictures in there.
Yeah.
You know, like keep it classy, you know, not
Keep
too
it
much
classy.
cleavage,
Love
stuff
it.
like that.
Q?
Yeah, I think you have the right to decide, like, draw a line reasonably. I mean, I don't. It'll make people uncomfortable if it's too much like that, but it's not really gonna make people uncomfortable if everybody's wearing a shirt. Like, they're not gonna be like,
I'm
what are all these
offended
people
by.
with pictures wearing shirts?
Well, the thing at my school is like they have this really strict dress code, and the dress code really only applies to girls at my school, which I don't really understand because like last year during senior projects, like the seniors get out early for their senior projects, and like they had one day off where like they all went to the beach, and then like a bunch of the guys just showed up like in swim trunks without their shirts on, and obviously teachers like, yeah, put your shirts back on, but they didn't really care because they were only there for a couple minutes. But still, like girls aren't allowed to show their shoulders. Like
Really?
wait, and we all like talked to each other, and we're like, oh, nothing turns a guy on like shoulders. Like I mean, like it's like I don't know, it's
You
like
know what shoulders lead to, don't you? Necks.
yeah,
So watch out.
and arms too.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, give us a call at 888-531-7171. We've got so much stuff to attend to tonight. I'm so excited about the show. We are Our Place Out Loud. We're talking about all things teen, and we are live. Please join us in the chat. Please, if you don't get to see this show and you can't hear my voice, know that it will later appear on YouTube. Keo has been loading all of our shows up to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com, which is a website you may have heard of, /Our Place Community. And if you go there, you can watch in living color all of the episodes of Our Place that have been done since we started that page. And I think we're like maybe 10 or 15 shows into this thing, so you could entertain yourself for up to 15 hours.
Yeah,
And the best-
we started at episode 112. I
Oh,
think.
very good. And now we're up to like 120.
26.
Yep.
And the best part about it is that you can fast forward to parts.
You
Whereas
can.
like when you used to listen to podcasts, like one time I was trying to show my mom the podcast, put my phone to sleep, it started all the way over.
Oh, how annoying.
Yeah.
The sound of my voice again?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Can't recommend it. Raven Kitty writes, don't you think it's weird? A girlfriend of mine, when a boy she likes touches her, she is fine and all happy. But then, if it is someone she is not interested in, she'll start complaining about it to me and calling the guy who she doesn't like a pervert and stuff. I find this funny. What do you think? I don't find it funny. I just find it to be, and I'm going to talk first, Maddie, and then throw it to you. But I'm going to talk first because it's my show and because I'm an adult and I've been to sexual harassment classes at my company. So I know that you have to learn how to perceive the difference between wanted and unwanted advances. Now, she's got no right to call this kid a pervert. He's just trying to figure out how to touch girls, which most boys are trying to do. But she needs to teach him that, you know, yes, I do get to say who can come close and who can't. And it's going to be different depending upon the personalities, and you have to figure out how to do what I call read the room, especially if you're a dude, because some girls are all flirty, touching one guy, and then you think you're a guy, and you think, okay, well, I'm going to get my hug in. You know, maybe not. Maddie?
I have a friend who does exactly this, and it kind of confuses me a little bit. Like, so, I mean, I think exactly what you said. It's about the girl, like, you know, a guy who's, like, in a room with a bunch of people and sees this girl hugging a guy, and he doesn't really know most of these people. He could be her boyfriend, you know, like, or you know, they could be really close or something like that. So it's kind of, but that doesn't sound like it's what's going on here, which also kind of confuses me, because I mean, am I the only one confused?
What's confusing?
Well, the confusing part is that, like, why she's doing this. Like, I understand that she might want attention from somebody and not want it from someone else. But I mean, like, you know, why? Like,
She doesn't have to be so
Well, 'cause
harsh
she likes
about
yeah,
it.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not black and white.
Go ahead,
Like,
Sia.
But I feel like you never talk to your friends about, like, how... Okay, so I exaggerate a lot when I talk to my friends. I can totally see myself doing this. Like, I mean, not to the guy's face, because that's mean. You know, I'll just say, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Which is kind of mean, too. Well, okay, but, like, why do they think they have the right to put their arm around me? When did I give you that okay? Keo?
Yeah.
Never. I'm just gonna say I don't think it's fair to call him a pervert or whatever, but like talk however you want with your friends. You can talk however you want straight to his face too. I'm just still not gonna say it's fair. But yeah, of course you have the right to decide who you want to touch you and who you don't want to touch you. It's simple as that.
I just think you need to be like clear and polite when
Yeah.
you just say, "Hey, you know, you're too close."
Yeah, you should definitely make it clear to someone when they're touching you and you don't want to be touched.
You're like, hey. I don't know, a nice way of saying "get your paws off me," but Brian.
Oh, for a second I thought you were just like trying to do some transition, and I was really confused. It's like, why is Weezy saying hey?
I was doing
hey,
an
new
impression of
question.
Fat Albert.
hey. No, I mean, yeah, you definitely have the right and the like obligation to tell people when they're too close and when they're not, and to choose who gets to get that close to you. But I mean, like Sia was saying, like this is one teacher at my school who gets a really bad rep because she does little things that bother people, and then we go out of class and we can be really harsh when we talk to each other and just exaggerate because that's what kids do. So
Yeah.
like she'll do one thing that's like, she graded my paper a way I didn't like, and then it'll be like, oh, she was out to get me. You know what I mean? Like it's that type of thing. And so things can come across different ways, but ultimately I think it's just a unanimous thing that girls like to be touched by some guys and not by others.
That is very, very well said. You know, and I know you when you say I find this funny, I think she just means interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that kind of explains it. Like, we all have sort of concentric circles around us, and we all are each kind of like our own planet, and we get to determine like who gets closer in with their orbit, and it's kind of up to us. And it is an unspoken thing, but you can speak it if someone is coming into your atmosphere, and and that person is not okay inside your atmosphere, even though the guy right over there is. And you do get to decide. You are the boss of your own body, but you just have to be polite about it. And it's not his fault, because some guys will just try whatever they can try until you say, no closer. I'm going to have someone else read this one because it's really long, but I thought it was a really interesting post about sibling. This time, Maddie, about sibling
Stealing my
jealousy. 'Cause
thunder.
everyone in this room has siblings. Keo, do you have siblings? Okay, yeah,
4.
not you. You don't. Yeah, but you have them. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Maddie.
Confession: I'm really jealous of my sister. She's really pretty. She's talented. Everyone likes her. She has the perfect hair. It falls into perfect spiral curls that lay perfectly, not frizzy at all. Her bangs dry just where they're supposed to. No straightening or anything. It's longer, softer. It has better curls. It's just perfect. I'd do anything for her hair. She has a pretty face, too. It's a pretty shape. She has gorgeous eyes and cheekbones. She has a great smile, unlike me. My mom says they're the same, but I don't see it. My mind looks kind of like an orange slice, straight across the top and curved on the bottom. Maybe hers is similar, but it works on her face, not mine. Not to mention she's skinny, again, unlike me. She has good legs, mine are disgusting. Her flat stomach, me, potbelly. She's not socially awkward and gets along with anyone and can be herself around people. Me? I have less people skills than bread. If I let my true self shine through, people think I'm weird. She's talented, she bakes amazing cakes and decorates them. Ever seen the show Cake Boss? Her cakes are just as good as those, if not in some cases better. She's like seriously talented. My talent at training dogs hasn't gotten me anywhere. It's probably not even recognizable. She landed 2 jobs decorating cakes at the first interview, where I have to fight to volunteer at a vet office. I wish I was like her.
I hate her so much. Let's storm her house with pitchforks and torches. Why? Just because she's so perfect, we can't stand it. The way her curls fall, I'm so done.
It's not
Why would
fair.
we stab her? Why don't we just cut her hair?
No, I don't want to stab her. I just want to threaten her with pitchforks.
We could just
Just
cut her
say,
hair.
you need a flaw.
Yeah, just
We're done.
threaten her into being flawed.
Exactly. She needs at least just like a pimple, please.
Yeah.
Please, a pimple. All right, so
A blemish.
is she exaggerating? Is this letter exaggerating? And even if it's not, why do we feel that somebody else, whether it's a sister or a friend or whatever, has it so much better than us? Because she listed lots of reasons, but they could all be true, but this kid, Airedale's, is still amazing. And there might be somebody at her school going, I wish I was like Airedale's because she has this. Like, she's not rattling off any of the stuff about herself that's awesome. Why is it so easy to assume that someone else has a better life? Sio.
Well, I'm constantly criticizing myself. So to me, if I see someone who does something better than me, I will automatically think that they're so much better than me. Like, I think it's just because I'm too critical of myself, though. And this sounds a lot like me and my cat.
Oh,
My cat. No, I'm
cat-
so
You think
serious.
your cat's more
bakes?
beautiful than you?
My cat is so, like, her 2 parents are show cats, and she, like, eats raw freaking chicken. They take more to freaking prepare her meals than mine.
I hate your cat.
I love my
Go
cat.
threaten her
I'm
with
gonna-
pitchforks.
She's so cute.
Torches and
I really
pitchforks.
don't like her. And she doesn't like my car.
This is just getting so much intrigue. It's so much intrigue. I love it. Q.
Okay, it's not just your car. She doesn't like cars in general. I get this because I've compared myself to my brothers. My brothers are awesome. They're good at a lot of stuff.
How's their baking?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
And yeah, one of my brothers is a really good cook. But I'm very competitive in my head. I'm always comparing myself to other people. But like I realized that I would compare myself, and I didn't like feeling bad when I compared myself. And I realized I would start feeling bad. So I started justifying why. If I was worse, I justified it like why I was worse. And if I was better, then I just thought I'm better at that person than that. I just haven't showed it yet. So
I
like
like that. That's
like
pretty good.
if somebody's good at something, I'd be like, yeah, I would be good at that if I tried as hard as you.
Yeah, dude, you could
I
be a
mean,
ski
yeah.
jumper.
Wait, did you voice that? Were you one of those people who's like, yeah, I could do that, I just don't try?
No,
You
I
could
don't
ski
voice
jump.
it.
Okay,
It's
'cause
in
if I
my
had
head.
skis
'Cause
and a
those are
jump,
honestly like. when
But
people
I
say
mean-
it to
totally
me.
could.
Is it her older sister?
It sounds like it's an older sister. She's already working at a bakery.
Yeah, I mean that's even more normal to
You-
be kind of jealous of your older sister because they can do a lot of things before you can, and then you like catch up, but then they're already ahead, and it's like
And
you feel
know,
like you can't.
and sometimes the older sister, you don't realize it because they're busy walking around like the older sister, but they could be like in awe of you.
Right.
They're just not gonna say it because it just they would then lose their supremacy in the household.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know how much your sister idolizes you and wishes she were more like you, because I have heard older siblings say that about younger siblings to me,
Yeah.
just not to the sibling. Our number is 888-531-7171. We would love to know what you think if you have siblings and if you are jealous of them. I know you're jealous of your sibling, Maddie.
Well, in some ways yes, and in some ways no.
Okay.
However, I feel like the main thing that causes like the most amount of jealousy problems in my house, because my brother's older than me. So what he does is I have so much work. And I was like, yes, you do. Good observation. And he's like, I work so much harder than you. And I was like, no, you don't. Because when you were in 8th grade, you worked the same amount that I did. You know, and when I'm in 10th grade, I'm going to work the same amount that you are. So it's not like just because, you're older means we're doing different amounts of work. But I'm doing 8th grade work and he's doing 10th grade work. There's a difference. And there's a reason why there's a difference. You know what I mean?
You're so
Like-
logical. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that Benji just goes,
He says, shut up, I'm working, go away.
Ryan?
Well, he's working hard, so I mean, way harder. No, I mean, for me, like, I get this a lot, just like Keo was saying, and like the most recent example was Sunday or something. Hold up, I gotta sneeze. Gonna pass. It's passing.
Oh, that's so weird. You almost never sneeze when you're in like show mode. Like
Yeah.
you never see like a stand-up comedian sneeze because it's like they're kind of telling their body you better not.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, and it's stuck in my nose right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, then should we come back to you?
No, I can talk.
Okay.
And so my brother, so my grandpa, he used to make us all omelets when we were little, me and all my cousins, and it was like the thing that he did for us. You know, we go to his house, we always wanted grandpa's omelets for breakfast. We'd stay over there, and so his 70th birthday was this past week, and on Sunday we went into his house really early in the morning, set the table with flowers and everything, and we made him omelets, and that was our what can we give back to grandpa that he gave to us when we were younger, and so.
You're sneezing and there's music playing.
There it was. All right, I feel a lot better now. So, my brother is an awesome cook, and so he makes like these red velvet pancakes and omelets, and I made like an omelet, and my grandpa like devoured his food and like took a couple bites of mine and pushed it
Aw.
aside. So, I'm not a good cook, but so I'm jealous of my brother a lot for things like that, but then I realized that he's the worst basketball player I've ever met. So, I mean, and he's just not coordinated at all. But the other thing that used to make me jealous was when, I'd say probably 2 years ago, long before he had come out as being gay, girls would just cling to him, and I was really, really jealous. But then now I know that they were clinging to him as friends, because like he had come out to them, but not to the family. So I was like, oh man. what's up with that? I don't get that. And then all of a sudden, like, he comes out as gay, and it's like because they're best friends, the same way I'm always hanging out with my best guy friends and stuff like that. It's just different scenarios for each person.
The best way to get like tons of hugs from girls is to go through your entire high school career pretending to be gay.
No, because then people think you're gay.
No, you can
But
go to
you get
college and
hugs.
just reinvent yourself.
But why hide yourself? Isn't that
I'm
the whole
just
point of the show? Is
I'm
to tell people
teasing.
not to hide
I'm
themselves?
teasing. One of my comedy kids used to have a joke about a gay kid at his school. Is like this kid is either gay or a genius.
I've heard that somewhere before.
It was a great line. Go ahead, Q.
And she says she's weird, which I find as a funny thing to be, like, see as a bad thing.
It's good to be unique.
Being perfect
Yeah.
is weird.
Like,
Mhm.
if somebody's like, is good at talking to people and everything, they're cool and everything. But if I meet somebody that's weird, that like I get to know and I think they're funny, then like I want to hang out with that person more than the person who's just kind of like, oh, I'm good at talking.
Yeah, and read your letter back to yourself because it's brilliant, and it's like it almost starts like you're reading a Beverly Cleary novel. I mean, you write so beautifully and so funny, and the way that you described everything was just really entertaining. And so, don't underestimate your talents. You have hidden talents that you haven't even discovered yet. Ryan, we're going to be moving on to the next question. I'm so sorry. I know your hand is up.
That is
Because
all right.
I want to read what Lorna Louise said in response to Airedale's post about her sister. Lorna Louise wrote, "My sister is exactly the same. I know how you feel. Is your sister the favorite by your parents? Does your sister get more attention? Is your sister younger? I find that younger siblings get more attention from their parents." Excuse me. Does anyone else find this to be true, that younger siblings get more attention, Ryan?
Yes, but that doesn't always mean it's good attention. If we do something bad, they hyper-focus on our bad things. And if we do something good, they hyper-focus on our good things.
You're
I'm the
their
younger sibling.
last chance to get it right.
Exactly. So my brother can screw up and they won't notice. Well, they'll notice, but it won't be that big a deal. Or he can be really successful and it's not like that big of a deal either, which, so he gets less attention, but less bad attention and less good attention.
The heir
I
and a
get-
spare.
Exactly. It's like it goes in both directions.
Q?
I find that my older brothers think that they have it worse and that my mom's is all easy on me and not on them. I can't really argue it because I wasn't paying attention
Mm-hmm.
or I wasn't able to remember.
Well,
I
you
don't
were
have
never
memory.
them. You were never them.
Yeah,
So how do you know?
But like I don't even remember seeing how they used to treat my brothers when
Mhm.
they were my age. But I mean, it's possible, but I kind of don't think that, at least in my case, that they were like that.
I don't think that parents have favorites. I just think that they treat every kid different because every kid is different, has different needs, and has a
Right.
different personality, interacts differently within the household. So some things may feel like favoritism when they're really just like, well, no, you need to be like a little bit more disciplined because you're kind of a wild child, or whatever the case may be. We have a new area in the app that I introduced last week called Dear Fill in the Blank. I guess I need a word for that underline thing. Dear blank. Dear so and so. Who wants to read Firefly's letter? Ryan?
Dear Blank, by Firefly. Dear ex-best friend, I never told you this, but I suffer from social anxiety, and you were one of the few people I could talk to. That is, until you began to ignore me and hang out with Elle. I dealt with it, being the third wheel, for almost a year, and you didn't seem to care. I finally gave up on you when I found out that you told Elle all the secrets I've told you throughout the years, even though you knew that I hated her. Thank you for your 8 years of friendship. I'll always remember the amazing first 7 years. Love, I.
So does that feel honest or passive-aggressive, or what does it feel like to you?
Honest.
Honest?
I feel like if it was passive aggressive, they wouldn't have mentioned that they have social anxiety, because like if you don't mention that to your best friend and then you're willing to come out and say that in the app for us to see and now read on a podcast, they would have just said that dear ex best friend, I can't believe you told so and so all my secrets.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of trying to go over her spite towards this best friend because I don't know, she's just trying to figure out how she's feeling, but I mean, if it were spiteful to me, she wouldn't have said thank you, really. Or it would have been like written more snarky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have been like, thank you for this 7 years. I enjoyed that.
So do you think it's a healing letter? Is it letting go?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And then what was interesting was the responses that we got to this, which was TY14 wrote aw, And interestingly, a lot of people identified with this experience that she had. BMS wrote, "Wow, that exact same thing happens to me too." And I don't know how to say this screen name. Mahomie for Leaf.
Mahomie for life.
Oh, Mahomie for life. Sorry, I don't speak jive. Whoa. Sorry,
I got it.
It's an airplane joke. Whoa, no joke. I've had the same thing happen to me. So, what is it about having a friend that you've had for 8 years and them knowing every detail about you, and then suddenly ditching you and telling every detail to your worst enemy? Like, how could that be a universal experience? Does anyone relate to this at all? Ryan?
I don't really relate to it. All I can add in is just that I feel like it's really pleasing for people to get attention and to be a source of information that interests people and make people go, oh, I want to hear more, I want to hear more. Whether it's telling a joke or making people crack up or sharing secrets. On another note, BMS, totally, like, probably not relevant, but there's a TV show I love that has those initials. Anyways.
Excellent.
I think that a lot of the time people tell secrets by accident, or they say it. I've said things that weren't secrets to say, but they were probably something that my friend didn't want to be spoken about, but it was more because the conversation reminded me of this thing, and I was like, oh yeah, and then like a few seconds later I'm like, oh, he probably wouldn't have liked that if you were here, and I probably wouldn't have said that if you were like here right now.
What I try to do with secrets is I try to, if someone tells me that something is not to be repeated, I try to forget that I know it.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when something similar comes up in conversation, you just go, oh, I don't know that. And then you just kind of get in the habit of not talking when the subject of your secret comes up, because if something is not life-threatening and someone has told it to you in confidence, you really do want to develop the reputation. And there's several reasons why. You want to develop the reputation of being someone that doesn't spill secrets because, A, it's just the right thing to do, and B, people tell you way more stuff.
Yeah.
But then you forget it.
No, you don't actually forget it. You just train that it doesn't go past like a certain boundary, like to your lips. We are at 888-531-7171. We would love to get a phone call from you. We are Our Place Out Loud. We've got Sio, Kiamute, Ryan, and Maddie. And in the control booth, we've got Jake. And Jake is keeping all things smooth this evening. Hopefully the show is streaming in the app.
I tried getting it,
enjoying it
in my app, and I couldn't get it to open. The actual stream, it was doing the same thing where it opens and closes.
Well, we've had upload, I would just like to harsh on Time Warner, if that's okay. Hopefully they'll sponsor us and give us better service. Yes?
Okay, so I have the most funny story about my mom and Time Warner. So
is it off topic? Because we've got questions to get to.
It's going to take about 25 seconds.
All right, you go.
All right, so
Animalist.
The cable guy came to fix the cable box, and then my mom tested it right after he left, and it wasn't fixed. So my mom ran outside the house in her nightie and her slippers, chased the truck down the block,
you
screaming,
go, Lee.
"Time
You
Warner!"
go. And her
She's
South African
running
accent.
down the block.
I love it.
So funny.
The neighbors are just like, wow. That lady.
23.
Well done, Maddie. Well done.
23
It was
seconds.
like an Elvis movie. Yes, it was. All right, so, yes, we are sorry that happened to you, but I want you to trust friendships, because really, even if you think something is like your deepest secret, it's still probably something that, even if someone finds out, they can identify with because they have a similar problem. So, none of us really have secrets that are just so dark and so damaging that we are unworthy of love. So if you're not afraid of your secrets, if you understand, like, okay, yeah, this happened to me and I'm telling my best friend because it's really super personal. At the end of the day, there's probably a million other people on the planet that have the same situation, and don't let anyone hold you hostage with secrets that they're going to tell. Like on Downton Abbey, because he was a really good butler. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm in the middle of season 2. You guys are probably way ahead of me. All right. So, it's like, yeah.
Sorry, no. Yeah, just go.
Yeah. Just move on. Move on. Can we have some Downton Abbey avatars? Sure. Who wants to
Upload
read
your
Miss
own.
Moonshadow's letter? Ryan.
Down and done. You like what? I would imagine. All right. So, is it wrong to be the mean girls? You've seen Mean Girls and maybe Mean Girls 2, but number 3 is Breaking Out. Like the up arrow little joke. But anyways, these girls in my class are so mean I have to tolerate them for more than another year. It's crazy. They're so mean, I've decided to finally give them a taste of their own medicine. Is that so bad? I know I'm stooping to their level, but since nobody dares to defy them, what else should I do? They're rude, arrogant liars, and the list goes on and on. It's not just my opinion. I can count handfuls of the people who feel the same way about these specific mean girls. Isn't it time to get called out? So is it wrong to play the mean girl?
Okay, who wants to read the next one? Because there's a lot of people in here responding to that. Maddie, read Never for Nothing.
I'd say it depends. It's one thing to stand up for yourself, but you don't want to become what you're trying to fight. You can stand up for yourself, but you don't want to turn into one of those mean girls yourself, because those are the people that other people are scared of, and you don't want to put yourself in that place.
Who wants to read Charlie Twiz? Q?
I don't think it's right to be nasty back. Maybe stand up to them once in a while, but don't stoop to their level. They aren't worth risking your reputation or your kind heart.
Sio? Khadija?
This seat is really annoying. Okay. Just think about when you're being mean to someone else. Try being in their shoes, and you never know them. They could be having a hard time at home or something, so think before you speak.
This was a lot of wisdom on this one. It really was. Maddie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think that it's right to kind of be the mean girl back, but I think that the actual, like, just calling them out on it, like saying that's mean or, like, that's rude, like, you don't need to kind of be mean back to them, but if you, like, actually call them out on what they're doing, like, why would you say that? That's really mean and hurtful. You know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's really good. Why would you say that?
Yeah. No, that's part of it too. And one of my closest friends since kindergarten, he has a tumor on the left side of his neck, and it gets bigger. But in 5th grade, there was this girl who came to our school, and she was really mean. She'd make fun of him for it. And he's been really, like, he has trouble standing up about it because it's something that really offends him, and is, you know, he's also a quiet person and a shy person. But so, you know, I could have been like, yeah, and you're ugly to the girl, you know, like, but that wouldn't have helped the situation to stoop to her level and make fun of something for her. Sorry, that wasn't a great example. But instead, I just said, you know, like, you know, he's got a lot going on. It's not easy for him. You don't need to say things like that. It doesn't help anyone, you know. And so just cut it out. And then she was like, yeah, I probably should.
Yeah,
That's
you
about
should.
it.
Like,
What are
what
you
is that
thinking, Q?
accomplishing, and what are you pointing out that everyone doesn't know, and that he doesn't know, other than you're pointing out that you're a jerk?
Yeah, exactly.
If you point out something that's an obvious physical factor that another person possesses, like, you know, if somebody walked up to Keo and said, "You're really tall," it would not be a news flash.
Newsflash.
No, I'm not.
You're tall. Wait, no, you're not. Never
But-
mind. I need to work on my comebacks.
I think that being mean back isn't necessarily, like, they're going to feel it a lot more if you call them out rather than if you're mean back, because they can respond to that. I mean, they can come with more insults and more things, and like, it just escalates. But if you don't insult them and you just say, why are you doing that? That's not nice. Or, like, just call them out on what they're doing. Then that's kind of the last thing that they want, for one. And it's kind of more effective to get them to stop what they're doing, I think.
I like it. Any other thoughts? I don't think you ever need to stoop to the level of the mean girls. Like, you kind of, like, want to meet them where they're at with, you know, just like a look. In other words, you can rise up to them, but don't fall down to them. So, in other words, you know, be elegant, be clear, make eye contact. You know, you can even use a finger and just say, "Stop it."
Not the finger, though.
Not the finger.
A finger.
Choose a finger very carefully. But you don't want to. In other words, if they said to you, like, you know, you're fat, and you don't want to find a physical thing about them and give that back to them, that just is repeating the stupidity of the behavior. You would want to say, like, you know what Maddie said, that's just not nice. Uncool. And especially when you're standing up for a friend, it's very cool to just say uncool.
Mm-hmm.
Very uncool. And everyone at your school respects you, Ryan, and you saying that for that kid, that means a ton to him. You know, because it's harder to say it for yourself. And one of the things that they're hammering home right now regarding bullying is the bystander stops the bully.
Mm-hmm.
The most effective person to stop the bully is the bystander. Because the kid getting bullied, it's almost like, what do you say that's not going to make you sound weak? But if you're not the one getting attacked, you're in a perfect position to go, excuse me? And then all of a sudden everyone's watching, like, because you've just held up like a giant magnifying glass to the jerk who dared say something about something that a guy has, that's part of his physicality that he can't help Maddie.
At my school, there was this girl who had a lot of like pimples all over her face, and then one girl, like one of the other kind of meaner girls, like pointed it out, and then I wasn't the one who said this, but I was there, and someone said, "Was that really completely necessary?"
Good one.
And the person who said the comment was like, no. Like
Guess
they
it
were just
wasn't
completely
essential.
confused because because they can't yes is not gonna be the answer that they're gonna say probably.
No, but what happens is, like, if everyone's like, yeah, pimples, huh, if everyone's like agreeing, then it's really fun to be the bully. But if all of a sudden just somebody just holds up a mirror and goes, you really look idiotic, the bully just like, could be very easily deflated, because people that would say stuff like that, not very high self-esteem to begin with.
Yeah.
And that you have to realize how much power we have over the bullies, but they're just like one irritant in a school full of people that's letting them continue. Why are we letting them continue? Why are we giving this kid so much power? Go ahead, Ryan.
I just came up with a quote of magic.
There you go.
It only takes a small needle to pop a big balloon.
Who embroiders?
A pillow. Put
That's
it on a
so
pillow.
great. Did you just think of that?
Yeah, just right now.
I love it.
Hot air balloon.
What?
Nothing.
I love it.
A lot of bullies are
Well,
full of
that'll
hot
be on
air.
our next. We have T-shirts coming for summer that are summer tees, as I call them. I don't think I'm the first one to use that term. We would love to hear from you at 888-531-7171. A lot of you have been sharing your profiles on Instagram. If you're writing to me at ourplacephoto@gmail.com, you will be getting a summer tee. They're very cute. They're V-neck and short-sleeved for summer. And we the phone line is wide open. Give us a call. Jakey is in the booth. He's in the chat room. He's chatting it up, drinking Dr. Pepper and doing whatever he does back there with Justin. They have their little man's club back there. We're about to do Thread Theater, and this time it's not really amusing. It's actually pretty serious. So I've assigned roles. I would like for you to take your roles very seriously and to get in character. And I will open the curtain on Thread Theater and begin scene.
All right. Why does everyone make... Oh, should I read the
You
screen
should
name?
say who you are.
All right. I'm Anonymous11. Why does everyone make sex into such a big deal? It's natural. And when you're responsible about it and aware of the risks, both physically and emotionally, then it shouldn't be a big deal.
Music Man 123. Well, it is a big deal because you're making babies. New life, so yeah.
Sex is not necessarily about making babies. ...
Right, this is very true. So once you're Jenny, I'm Jenny. Once you're 18 and are able to have sex safely and responsibly, you're doing it because you really genuinely want to, and not just because everyone is doing it or to please someone else. It's all good.
I'll be 18 soon, but I don't think that's a factor for when it's okay to have sex. It's a personal decision. Maybe other people feel it necessary to abide by that, but it's not a factor for me.
Gaga 1. Sex is of use when you are in a fully committed relationship and over 18.
Being 18 before sex is not important to me.
It is not a good idea.
Who's to judge what's a good idea for me?
Rachel Balla. I think in my opinion, you should wait till you're married, but that's just me.
I don't know if I ever want to get married.
Miscellaneous. I would wait until it's legal and I know all the risks, etc. Plus, I'm with someone I can trust. That's just me, though.
I really don't want to hear about the legality issue. It's irrelevant to me. All I want answered is why do people put such an importance on and such pressure on sex?
Wild card. Sex isn't a big deal. It's natural. I feel as though people should do it when they're comfortable doing it. It's not a big deal.
I will be playing the part of myself.
What?
We're easy. Because in sharing your body in this way, you are allowing yourself to be both emotionally and physically very vulnerable. Therefore, it is important that you be with somebody who understands that responsibility and who truly values you, heart and soul, as you value him or her. Sex is an entirely intimate act, and it is an extremely big deal. You have read the opinions expressed here, and you don't seem to agree. That is your choice. If you say that you understand the risks and that you are keeping yourself safe, then you certainly don't need our permission to have sex under the age of 18. It is just not what we recommend. So everyone agrees that I had the best response, right?
You know,
Totally.
yeah, no, I do.
So I don't know how comfortable you guys feel talking about this, because you don't have to share your own personal plans or experiences about sex under the age of 18. But you all kind of know that in the app, I recommend very strongly that sex is for adults and that people should wait until they're over the age of 18 and in a loving and committed relationship. Are you willing to share your opinions on this subject, Ryan?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, like, if you're 17, 16, 15, or however old you are you willing to take care of a child? Because if not, you shouldn't be the one who's, I mean, you know what I mean? There is safe sex, but if you get what I'm saying, like, if you can't take the responsibility of unsafe sex, then it's not a good idea to have sex at all.
Well, how do you feel about people who use abortion or the morning after pill as a form of birth control?
Well, I feel like that's a different scenario because, well, I mean, part of it is that those systems are not flawless. I mean, abortion is, a different scenario, but that's also like moral issues, and it's discussed, and it's like, should it even be illegal to have abortion and stuff like that? So that's getting into a lot of other subjects, but just in terms of, like, if you don't feel like you can bear the responsibilities of what can come from sex, then it's not a good idea to do it.
Very well said, Q.
I would say it's not a good idea knowing the risks. I don't understand why you would want to, but I mean, if you know the risks, then you're basically saying, oh, I don't care about those risks. I mean, that's what you're deciding, and that's up to you to decide.
Or that you're ready to take them on, but I don't always think
Yeah.
that that's a good idea before you're 18.
No, but that's a really wise way of putting it. It's almost arrogant to say, I know the risks. I'm going to stand on this train track. If a train comes, I knew the risk.
Yeah.
I'll jump. Like, out of
And,
the way.
and so it is kind of arrogant, because until the consequences happen to you, it can, kids can feel infallible, or what's the word for it? Kids can feel, no, what's the word for them feeling like nothing bad can ever happen
Invincible.
to them? Invincible, yeah. Until it happens, there's certainly enough evidence on TV with all these shows that have teenagers who have babies. There's enough evidence to show that sex makes babies, and it could happen to you. Sio.
Okay, but those shows, like, I really don't like those shows because they kind of romanticize having teen babies.
Do they? Because unfortunately,
It's
for
like-
for you, I haven't
Howard's-
seen the show.
Okay,
Howard's
I don't
shaking
know.
his head like, no,
I
no,
know,
no,
okay,
no, no.
but you're gonna tell me that, oh, I'm gonna have this baby, and then I can get on a TV show, and then, like,
It depends on how
it's a-
cute your baby is, to be honest.
and
And
it's
how
like,
cute you
it's
are.
like they have all these problems, and they continue talking about it, and I feel like it's not the best idea to try and solve problems on a TV show that's based on your having problems in your, like, relationship or, like, having something.
I've heard that teen pregnancy has gone down since those shows have been on the air. It could be a coincidence, but Howard says it's true. Howard's involved in all
disagree
of
with those
all
shows.
things show business, and teen pregnancy is included in that. So no, Howard is involved with Dr. Drew, and Dr. Drew is intimately involved with helping the girls in that show, from what I understand. I haven't seen the show, but I did hear that news report that the shows may be responsible for kids going, yeah, I don't want that. That's not as much fun as prom. Kyo.
Well, it seems like she's arguing a question that she didn't ask to me, because she asked, why do people make a
such a
big
big deal.
deal of it?
Good point.
And this is why.
I
It's
hope
because
you're going
it's not
into
a good.
politics, because you're really good at this. You see right through everything. It's
I-
amazing.
I grew up arguing with
It really is
smart
amazing.
brothers.
You have an uncanny.
And you got to see through her. It
Yeah.
just says you got to read it.
Yes.
But I mean, she's arguing why she should, like, people shouldn't make a big deal of why she personally should be able to have sex. No, like, we don't know her personally. We don't know how responsible she is or anything. This is why people make a big deal about it, and why they think, and this is why they've said 18 is they've just decided on that, because that's when people kind of become adults. That's what the society views anyways.
I don't even know if sex at 18 is such a good idea because
Yeah.
you got you could still break up and it still may not work out. So,
Yeah.
you know, sex at any age comes with responsibilities. It's just that maybe at 18 you're more responsible than you were at 16, hopefully, because your brain is continuously developing. But I feel like she asked the question and then she was almost like saying, I take on all challengers, and like that she had already made the conscious decision that when kids gave an opposing viewpoint, she was going to, you know, cut them down. Like she was just being confrontational for the sake of it, almost as sport. And sex is always going to be controversial. So I don't think she wanted people's opinions. I think she wanted to argue. If she is a she might be a he. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I can see what you're coming from. The other thing I might think is that it was just a poorly worded question, whereas it's more like, I feel like sex is like an okay thing or what, you know, however you want to phrase it, but it just didn't come out exactly the right way. But the other thing I was going to say, that's just elaborating on what you said about kids feeling invincible until something happens to them, is like, I talk a lot. That's my thing. And my Spanish
And
teacher.
sports.
Yeah, and sports, but I talk about sports. So my Spanish teacher sent a email home to my parents, and of course this is a much smaller scale, just being like, oh yeah, Ryan's talking way too much in class, blah, blah, blah. And so my dad was like, all right, what can I do? All right, you can't drive for the next week. So, because he didn't want to like ground me, because it was just like an email, it wasn't like a call home or anything. But he said I can't drive for the next week, which I was like, all right, that's a bummer. But like when I'm in class, I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to lose my driving privileges if I say to my friend Michael, hey, did you see at the Clipper game last night? Like, that's not what runs through my mind. It's just like, Miss Pritchard
I'm
might
gonna
say be quiet.
this.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm going to say this, and I might get told to be quiet. And then it's not like I'm going to lose my driving privileges. So you don't always see and connect to what's going to happen until after it's happened. So it's, I'm going to do this, and then I might have to bear the responsibility of blah, 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 blah.
So do you think that the person was saying, you know, I don't understand why sex should be a big deal if I'm careful? Why won't you guys sign off on this for me?
Yeah.
So that I don't have to feel like I'm a bad person. And you're not a bad person for having sex. No one is a bad person for having sex. And it's not. And I'm not judging your morality or your wisdom or your judgment or anything. I'm just saying that when kids gave you reasons why they thought that sex is a big deal because it makes babies, you maybe didn't need to be so harsh in your counter opinion, because you, like I said, you will have sex if you decide to have sex. So we're not stopping you. It's just that we have to set guidelines, and then if people feel that those guidelines come with some wisdom behind them, and they decide that maybe is the right way to go. Because you know what I tell kids is like, you know, you have a billion things to worry about. I don't want you to wake up tomorrow morning and have one of your concerns be, am I pregnant? That should not be on the list of things that are concerning a 16-year-old. And it's so easy for that not to be on your list of things that are concerning you. That why would you engage in behavior that makes that one of the things that you're worried about? And so if you choose to have that be one of the things that you worry about, because it will be once you start having sexual intercourse, that's your choice, and that's between you and your body and your parents and who your partner. But I would rather a child not have that burden of that concern. And I understand that you have all these sexual feelings, and you know, what do you do with them? And so I know it's a confusing time period, but I just feel like it's best for me to advise you not to do it until you're of age. Go ahead, Q.
There's also, I mean, this isn't a very good argument for it to convince you, but you don't know how responsible or irresponsible you are. Really, you kind of need more, generally you need more things to compare it to. Because I know when I was younger, I would say, like, and I look back on that, I'm like, wow, that was stupid. I was stupid back then. But when I was in that moment, I wasn't thinking, I'm stupid right now. I don't know things. I'm not responsible. I never thought that, and I don't think that now, but I might think it later.
Yeah, like that's a good point. Like you may want to say to yourself, maybe it's a good idea for me to try to project the wisdom I will have in 5 years and behave that wisdom today, because 5 years from now, me will thank the me of today for that. Maddie. Only because the mic was in front of you, Ryan.
Just very quickly, because I know we don't have a lot of time, but maybe this person was trying to ask this question for reasons why it's not a good idea, because they wanted to know reasons why it was not going to be a good idea, so they kept trying to counter it to find more and more reasons why it's not a good idea, and maybe even more complicated, they were asking us to try to find answers to help a friend.
It could very well be. Could very well be. Devil's advocate kind of thing. Ryan?
Quick comment, just from speaking from experience. I had a girlfriend for 6 months last year, and we never had sex. And people in high school are now like, "Oh, well, you didn't have a real relationship because you didn't have sex." And I'm like, "What's that about? It's it's a relationship. It's not like." So I don't know.
That's
There's a lot of
weird.
pressure on it, and so people
That
make
is
like
weird.
a big fuss about it, especially in high school.
And why is it any of their business?
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. And like I don't
So
even
it's
know how
like
people
there's
know.
another
but
person involved,
I
and
mean-
it's her reputation as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
why would you even talk about it?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's a lot of pressure, and people talk about it a lot in high
Yeah, I
school,
know
and
they do.
just yeah.
Yeah, you just do your thing, man, because you're going to be a successful, awesome person, and what people can say what they want to say, they're just jelly. We are Our Place Out Loud. Sio's embarrassed when I talk slang. We will see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody.
It's coming. It's coming.